appreciate it. Erin is here to speak to us. She is a renowned author. How I met Erin was way back in the day. Gosh, I think we've known each other for at least
12 years.
12 to 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Erin used to work at Lifetime Fitness, and I decided I was going to get a personal trainer and just get myself into shape. And she kicked my ass. She, one of her first books that she wrote, she is a renowned author as well. She wrote Beaten to Badass, and she is a badass. She kicked my ass. But through the years, I've always kept up with Erin, watched her on Facebook, have just reached out periodically just to find out how she's doing, just kind of see things that are going on. But with that said, she's going to talk to us about some different things that are going on. She does have a new book. Again, she is a renowned author, and if you're ever interested in any of her books, you know, definitely look them up. I don't know, are they on Amazon? Okay, perfect. You can also purchase them directly from her, but I think that they're truly inspiring through the eyes of somebody through ups and downs of our lives, and I felt there was certain things that I could relate to with the things that Erin was going through. But with that being said, Erin here.
Hopefully you guys can hear me. So it's weird to be at TopGolf because, I mean, no offense, the same golf. But no, TopGolf is a good place. I was here in December. And I played with Monte Ball. We had a little get together, and I was able to play with Monte Ball and a couple of his buddies in the silver industry. It was a lot of fun. But funny story is my first golf experience was down in Texas, and my husband had to get surgery. He was being such a grouch that I was like, screw you, I'm gonna go play Topgolf with my brother and kick his butt because he always said he was better than me. And I was like, oh, just because you're older doesn't make it better. So I whipped my brother's butt twice. So that was my first experience with TopGolf, but I'm really happy to be here today. We are going to talk about being more, but I'm actually going to call on you. We're going to do a little activity right now. Woo! Well, all right then. So when I was a little girl, I would watch Disney. Who else watched Disney? I mean, we all did, right? I wanted to be a princess. I wanted to be saved by a knight in shining armor. I wanted to have the world at my fingertips and live a happily ever after. So when we're young, whether it's high school or college, we are always asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be a princess. I was my daddy's princess, but I wanted to be a princess for the rest of my life and be saved by Prince Charming. Well, that didn't happen. But that's okay. So I'm going to call on you. I want you to think back when you're in high school or college, and I want you to tell me who you are and what you wanted to be when you grew up. So who wants to go first?
I will.
All right, Shauna.
So in high school,
Or college, or when you were a little girl?
I wanted to be a divorce lawyer or a school bus driver.
Okay.
I wanted to be a lawyer because I wanted to stick my nose in everybody's business.
And you still do.
So then high school, I wanted to be a
Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. In high school, and I wanted to be like a National Geographic photographer.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, so who wants to go next? Say your name and what you want to be when you
I'll go next.
circle.
I'm Chrissy. In high school, I wanted to be actually an Olympian. I was close. I did go to Olympic trials in swimming, so that's what I wanted to be, as an Olympian. But
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, next.
I'm Kelly. When I was young, I always wanted to be a teacher and a mom.
Love it. All right, you're next.
name is Yvonne, and I wanted to be a psychologist.
Awesome.
My name's Liz. In high school, I wanted to do athletic training, and then in college, I wanted to do pediatric nursing.
I'm Jason. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a 5th grade teacher because of that kind of inspiration from my 5th grade teacher.
Wonderful. Those are all wonderful dreams, great big goals. So who actually accomplished them? So two. Close.
I'll take it. I mean, that's close.
We all have dreams, and we all think we know what we need to be or who you're supposed to be when we grow up. We're told, introduce yourself and what do you want to be when we grow up. All those adults around us ask, what do you want to be when we grow up? That's a question that we're constantly asked. We're never given the opportunity to stop and think about it. We have to know on an instant, right? So never in a million years did I think I'd find myself curled up in a blue chair, knees in my arms, head down, scared to death of what was next. Because you see, I grew up as a twin. I have a twin sister. She's beautiful, she's talented, she's smart, she was athletic, she was everything my parents wanted. She was a track star. She could run the mile in 6 minutes and 19 seconds. She had asthma. I hated running, and I was bullied. I was teased, I was tormented my entire life. So why not pick a sport that everybody hates? Golf. Because I was never noticed unless they were teasing me or bullying me or pushing me around. I figured, well, I'll just pick a sport that nobody likes anyway, and everybody will leave me alone, but I'll show them one day. So I told you I wanted to be a princess when I grew up. That wasn't the whole truth. I told people I wanted to be an astronaut. Then I found out you had to know math for that, so forget it. Still wanted to be a princess. Wanted to be saved and ride away in the sunset on a white horse. But my dad, at a very young age, bonded with me. I became his favorite. And he taught me golf. 39 years ago. And he loved it. And I admired everything so much about my dad that I wanted to be just like him. He was charming. His name is Charming Chan. All the women love him. Even the 20-something-year-old when he's 89. I just don't get it. He's got the sparkling blue eyes. He's a charmer. Just ask my friend Christina. Anyway, my dad loved golf. And I loved my dad. We were best friends. So I put everything I had to become Aaron, the golfer. That's what I was going to do. I was going to play the worst sport, which was never considered a sport, as a female, as I was being bullied and teased my whole life. That is a weird combination for a child that is never seen. So I grew up and I practiced and practiced and practiced day after day after day. I didn't care what people thought, but in reality I really did because I wanted people to like me and not just my sister. I didn't want to just be Bryce's twin. I didn't want to just be a nobody. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to be noticed and I wanted to be seen. As a child, I was not seen. Not by my parents, except for my dad, every single summer when we hung out at Verdugo Hills Golf Course. The men's club surrounded me like family, and it's where I could just kind of be me and not worry about being compared to my little sister, the track star. I could play golf, I could learn from these great mentors of mine, and put everything I had into golf. So that's what I did. And as I grew up, I found out that you could play on a team in high school. So in 8th grade, we discovered that I had such a talent for this game, I was naturally gifted, that I was allowed to practice with the high school girls. But then I moved away. And my mom and my stepfather got a divorce, and I didn't have that opportunity anymore. So I just practiced when I could, and I hated where I was at because I was so far from where I wanted to be. So every summer I'd go to California. But during my 8th grade year, my mother's boyfriend at the time said he was my dad. That is a big mistake to say. So I told my mom, well, I'll just move to California and play golf and be with my dad. She shipped me out on the next plane the next day. So I had already gone to 2 8th grades. I had no friends, and I felt betrayed by my family. So I moved out to California and I lived with my dad, and I got to go to the golf course every single day. It felt like I was in Disneyland. Every single day I got to play golf, I got to putt, I got to practice, I got to immerse myself in this game. This game became my love. Discovered what love was through the game of golf, and I couldn't bear the idea of never loving something more. I had to love golf. I had to be Erin the golfer. So I put my whole identity into becoming Erin the golfer. Freshman year comes around, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna try out for the team. Wait a minute, there's no girls team. Well, that sucks. Here I am in a sport, golf, and in a state that's supposed to be golf country, California, and there's no girls golf team? Are you kidding? Well, there was a men's team, so I tried out. I made it, one of 2 girls. Now, let's be real. They couldn't let me on it. They had to let me on the team. Like, they had to let me on the team. So, we're getting ready, and we're about to play in our first tournament, and they're like, Erin, you're up. You get to play it. I'm like, yes, I made it. I kid you not, I peed a little at the first tee. And I just put my bag on my back, and I walked like, I hope nobody saw that. And then I went to my next shot. So I played golf my freshman year on a men's team. My dad, I felt like, was restricting me. My sister was talking about all this beautiful freedom she had, and she got to date, and she got to have friends, and she got to go do things. And I wanted that, because I didn't have a lot of friends in California. So I decided to pack my things up and leave California and go to another high school in Missouri, where I had just left a year and a half prior. I tried out for the golf team, I took the #1 spot. My mom decided to blame me for everything, and so she packed up our things, and we moved to Florida my junior year. So I tried out for the team, and I made it, and I took the #1 spot. I was then one of the best golfers in Collier County, which is one of the biggest counties in Florida, and I played at the Larry Bird Invitational Golf Tournament. And I was like, wow, I'm finally gonna do this. My mom shipped me off to California that summer. Again, she said, I don't know about this, have a life, whatever. Came back to my mom in Florida, and she packed up my car, and we drove 36 hours straight to Missouri, and she dropped me off at my ex-stepmother's house and said, have a good life. So not only have I gone to 3 8th grades, at this point I have gone to 3 high schools. Had no friends, had nothing consistent in my life except the game of the golf. So I poured everything I had into that sport, because my God, I was gonna be someone, and I was gonna be noticed. I was being written in papers for the last 3 years of my high school career. I was being talked about, and nobody could deny Erin existed. I was finally becoming somebody because of a sport I loved so much that I knew that this was my ticket to a better life. This was my Prince Charming. This was the horse I was gonna ride on into the sunset, and my biggest dream was becoming a touring professional. Traveling the world, playing a sport I love, and admired by thousands along the fairways and greens. I was gonna do it. Now, I didn't know that you're supposed to apply for college junior year, because I was picked up and then dropped off at my ex-stepfather's house. So senior year, I had one thing and one thing only to rely on. Golf. That was it. That's all I had. My grades were good. I was an AB student. But I had transferred so many times throughout my high school career that I kept taking the same classes. The only math that I got to was geometry and algebra 1 and 2, which, by the way, is awful. I hate math. Unless it's bars and birdies. They were good. So I had to rely on my sport. I had to rely on this gift that I had that was given to me as a natural golfer, and I relied on it. And I played my heart out. People hated me on my team. Who's this girl, thinks she is, coming from California and all these different high schools in Florida and blah, 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 taking the #1 spot and taking our opportunity away from us. I didn't know I was taking anybody's opportunity away. I was making an opportunity for me to take and hold on to and live a life that I wanted to live. So, my birthday, 18th birthday. Up to this point, my parents never saw me play golf in a tournament. Not one. Who wants to walk around for 4 hours on a beautiful golf course with the birds and the breeze and the leaves and the trees and the water to watch their daughter play golf? Well, that wasn't something they wanted to do. They'd go watch a track meet for 4 hours, watch Bryce excel at that, but they wouldn't watch me play golf. So my 18th birthday was around, it was districts, and I was getting ready to qualify for the biggest tournament in high school, state. And I didn't care, because it was my birthday, and the only wish I had was to qualify for state and to show my dad, look, Dad, something. And he always believed in me. My dad and I are best friends. He has always had my back. We've never gotten into an argument. I've never disappointed him. But I wanted to show him that all those times at the golf course finally were gonna pay off. It was snowy. It was cold. It was wet, rainy, and dirty. It was awful. It was awful, awful weather in Missouri. I didn't care though. I was playing golf. So my first round, the first half of my golf game, first 9 went fabulous. You could not stop me. Like, I was on fire. I was hitting shot after shot after shot. I had this game in the bag. Get to number 10, dog leg left. I'm like, okay, I got this. No big deal. Hit my ball, and it goes down a hill to the right. I'm like, oh, it's not gonna be that bad. So I get to my ball, and I look at my ball. There's this old gentleman standing next to the fairway. Look at my ball. I look at him. I look at my ball. I look at him because it's next to a hazard. I'm like, am I in the hazard? Am I not? I really can't tell. And I looked at him. I said, hey, could you help me? He's like, no, I can't help you. I'm like, what do you mean you can't help me? What do I do? So in life, we are not training for the good shots. We're always training for the bad shots. We're always training for the challenges and the tests and the down points. We're never training for that peak in the mountain. We're always in the valley, and that's what we're training for. So I was in a valley at this moment because I didn't know what to do. And he said, well, you can ask girls in your group. And I was like, they're way down there. I'm not going to call them back in this miserable weather. And he goes, well, you can make a call, and hopefully it's the right call. So I made the call, finished my round, got under the patio, and huddled. And as they're calculating the scores and the results, the girls all found out it was my birthday. And they all sang happy birthday to me. And that was the first moment in my life that I felt seen by other peers. It was a beautiful thing. I just wanted to qualify for state. I just wanted to make it to the biggest stage in high school. So they roll in. Not only did I qualify for state, I medaled. It was the best birthday. And I was happy, and my coach was excited, and my dad was finally proud of me because I finally showed him this sport he taught me at such a young age was finally paying off. But then I had an aha moment. I qualified, and now I gotta go play. What? You don't just qualify and it's over? Come on. No. You have to play. So, what tournament does my mom decide to go watch me in for the first time where she's never been supported in this game? State. The first day we got rained out. The second day we played, it was raining, and I lost my 5-iron in the tree on number 1. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, come on, God, you better drop this club. I need that club. That is an important club. And just as we were about to walk away, the club drops. So I played state. I didn't care where I placed because it was on my resume. State. So the season ends, and I go on with my life, and I'm like, golf better pay off. And I'm applying for colleges, and I'm told I am too stupid to attend college. In fact, a college told me those very words. You are too dumb to attend college. Your grades don't add up. And your golf is not that great. You're good, but you're not that great. So you can't attend our school. And another school denied me, and another school denied me. You know, you're late on your application. You can't go to college. I was like, this sucks. I've worked so hard my whole life playing a game that I thought was gonna pay off, and nothing is happening. And I was Aaron the golfer, and now I'm Aaron the nobody. What do I do now? I received a phone call. And it was by a man by the name of Coach Capra of Rockhurst University. He introduces himself on the phone and said, Aaron, I'd like to have a meeting with you and talk about attending Rockhurst University. Now, what people didn't know is I knew a teammate on my team in high school senior year wanted to attend that university. And she didn't get a call. She wanted to go on a golf scholarship and attend this university. She didn't get a call. I got a call with Coach Capra. So we set up a meeting. I walk into the principal's office. They said, right this way, Aaron. And they send me to this little room where this old man with his back turned to me is sitting at a little table. I walk into the room, the gentleman stands up, and he introduces himself. Hi, I'm Coach Capra from Rockhurst University. It's nice to meet you, Aaron Bush. I think my mouth hit the floor. I looked at that gentleman, I said, "Now wait just a minute, you're that guy that wouldn't help me on the golf course for districts. Why wouldn't you help me? Why wouldn't you help me? You were right there." Because I couldn't help you, Aaron, because I was scouting you, because you're really good at golf. You have what it takes to play at the college level, and I want to offer you a golf scholarship. The guy strung my mouth back up and said, "Okay," and I sat down at the table, we talked, and I accepted a golf scholarship to Rutgers University that day. I was ecstatic. My grades were good, my game was even better, and I was gonna go to college and be the first person in my family to do so. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure. So the season starts in the fall for golf for women. It did anyway back then, that was 20-some years ago. And when you attend college as an athlete, you're with the best of the best. You're not playing with one, you're not playing with 2, 3, 4, and 5s. You're playing with 1, 1, 1, 1. You're playing with the best athletes from their schools, and you are no longer number 1. You are just somebody on the team that's trying to fight for a spot to play in next week's tournament. So there was this tournament at our home course. I wouldn't say it's a tournament, it was our tryouts to play in a tournament. And I was like, my game is on fire, my pride is high, I got this game in the bag. Yeah, I was excited. So the first 9, this might sound familiar. The first 9 goes really, really well. I mean, I'm hitting shot after shot, par after par, moving a couple bogeys. But I was on fire. I was like, I'm gonna play next week's tournament and this is going to be fantastic. Do we all have pride? I have pride. Yeah? Do any of you have like an ego at all, ever? Right? So the ego's sitting there, it's festering, right? It's festering and I'm playing my game and it's going perfect. Get to the back 9, number 10, dog leg left. What the heck is with me and dog leg lefts? I mean, I'm left-handed, but I play right-handed, so it shouldn't be a problem. So number 10, hit my drive, it goes right, down a hill. Again. It's like, oh, I can do this. I've done it before. Well, my ball was under a tree. Not a big tree, a pine tree. A pine tree, and those hurt when you have to get in them. So I look at my ball, I look at my target, I look at my ball, I look at my target. I'm like, okay, I'll just do a bump and run. We all know what a bump and run is, where you bump it 1/3 of the way and 2/3 it rolls. It's one of the most forgiving shots in the game. It's the easiest shot in the game. So I took my 5-iron, because I needed to knock it into the fairway. So I get in position, I look at my ball, look at my target. Okay, I got this. Man, I picked that ball clean. It was a perfect shot. And I let go of my club because I felt a snap in my wrist. Excruciating pain. What did I just do? I know I didn't hit the tree. I know I didn't hit the ground. Why does my wrist hurt? But I had pride, and I was gonna play next week's tournament. So I picked up my club, put it in my bag, threw my bag on my back, and I walked to my next shot and hit, and it hurt. Hit the next shot, and it hurt. And every shot, it kept hurting more and more, and I had to keep letting go of the club with my left hand and finish my shot. So I finished my round, and I am in the most pain I have ever experienced because I have never broken a bone. I've never had any problems. I mean, I ran into a table during cooking club one time, got a black eye, but that was the extent of it. Like, I didn't know what I had just done to my wrist, but it was throbbing. And I had pride, and I had an ego that decided to creep up. And that ego crept up when I took that shot for the bump and run. I said, oh, you think you got this in the bag, do you? Well, I'll show you who's boss. So I hurt my wrist really bad. And coach, we go through the scores, and he knows his teammates. He knows his team, and he knows his players, because he's been watching them for years. And it's my freshman year, and I'm thinking, oh, I can hide this. Like, I have to play next week's tournament. Go through the scores, and I had qualified to play in next week's tournament. And he looked at me and goes, Aaron, there's something wrong. I said, no, coach, everything's fine. He's like, no, EB. He called me EB. That was my nickname for Aaron Bush. And he goes, I want you to stay back. I was like, okay, I'll stay back. And so the team, all the girls leave, and he goes, Aaron, what happened? And I said, well, I'm in pain, coach. Holding back the tears. I hurt really bad, and I don't know what I did, but I I did really well, coach, and you gotta let me play in next week's tournament. I've been working my whole life to finally play at the college level, and I made it, and I wanna be a part of something, and you have to let me play in next week's tournament. And he said, no, I don't. I said, coach, I'm begging you. He's like, nope, Aaron, you're not playing unless you were cleared. So if you go to the sports therapist, and he clears you, you can play in next week's tournament. It's like, fine, coach. I mean, you really can't say no to your coach. So I said, no, coach. I mean, Shauna always tried to, and I trained her, but hey, I tell her, give me 10 more, come on. So I go to the sports therapist, and as I walk to the sports therapist, I'm having this internal dialogue. Let me be okay, God, I'll do anything, right? We all negotiate with the world. Hey, if you let me be okay, I'll do this. We never follow through on our end, right? We never say, but there's a caveat, because I'm really not gonna do that. We always just say, let me be okay, or let me do this, or let this happen, or, you know, whatever it may be, if you do this for me. But we never follow through, and the universe knows that. So I'm having this internal dialogue. I go to the sports therapist, and he is running test after test after test after test, asking me about my pain level. I'm like, fine. Just, yeah, you know, because as athletes, we are trained to hold it together, to not show weakness, and to make sure that nothing happens. And if something does happen, you better hide it, you better sweep it under the rug, and you better keep on going because people are watching. And you cannot show any weakness. So the physical therapist gets done, sports therapist gets done, he's analyzing my wrist, and he puts a cast on it. I said, well, how long am I out? It's just a half cast. It's like, well, how long am I out? And he goes, Aaron, you can't pick up a pencil, you can't tear a paper towel, you can't do the things that you're supposed to do. Now this was my left hand, this was my dominant hand, and I'm in college, and we gotta take notes. Like, we didn't have computers back in the day. And I can't do anything with my left hand. It is useless. And how the heck am I going to play golf? So he told me, he goes, you're out. And I said, okay, well, how long? Like when, like let's talk about this. Like, how long am I out? Well, honey, you're out for the season. Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say? You said I'm out for a week? No, Aaron, you are out for the entire season. Well, that can't be right. I came to college to play golf, and I'm Aaron the golfer, and you just told me I can't play golf? Am I hearing you right? And he's like, yeah. So I went to my coach, and I told coach, I said, hey coach, I'm out, I'm hurt really bad, and I gotta wear this thing, and blah, 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 and he goes, well, how long are you out, Aaron? I said, for the whole season, coach, and I guess that means I'm off the team, right? Like, I guess I'm no longer part of the team anymore. And he looked at me and he said, no, Aaron, you are a part of the team. It is a matter of how you show up. I was like, what? No matter how I show up. But I can't play, coach. I can't play the game that you brought me here to play, but how am I part of the team? It's a matter of how you show up, Aaron. I said, okay. So I showed up. I showed up to every practice. I cheered my girls on. I watched them putt after putt, chip after chip, drive after drive. I walked the course with them. I'd encourage them. And inside this whole time, I am dying. Because they're complaining about a game that I don't get to play it. And I'm like, how dare you complain about something that I don't even get to do, and I have to sit here and I have to listen to it, and I can't play. But I'm showing up. My mental health was declining. My attitude was not good. I hit it very well, and my grades were slipping. My GPA got down to a 2.67, and if you know anything about GPAs and golf scholarship or any kind of scholarship, you can't go below a 2.6. And I was on the cusp of failing my classes. I couldn't play golf, and I didn't know who I was without the sport. So I went back to coach and I said, hey coach, I'm really struggling here. I don't know what to do. I don't want to lose everything that I worked so hard for, but I don't know what to do. He said, Aaron, I think you need to go talk to someone. And I looked at my counseling. Really? You want me to go talk to somebody about this? I'm supposed to be strong. I'm an athlete. I'm not supposed to show any weakness. I'm supposed to hold it together and be brave and act like nothing bothers me. And you want me to go talk to someone intentionally about my problem? Yeah, Aaron. I do. Because if you're struggling with something, it is okay to get help, to seek help, to ask for help, to carry that burden with somebody else because you don't have to carry it yourself. We can't do it alone. Carrying something heavy that's weighing you down and you're struggling with, we're not meant to do it alone. Humans are supposed to interact with each other, help each other, and be there for one another. So my coach said, I want you to go talk to someone. I said, okay. Because I asked him if that was for the weak, and he said, no, Erin, it's for the strong, it's for the courageous, and the brave. And I'm like, well, okay. Fine, coach, you're my coach. I don't want to lose my spot on the team. I'll go talk to someone. So then, again, I have this internal dialogue with me on the way to counseling. Maybe it'll only take one session. Maybe it won't be that bad. Maybe I'm just overanalyzing, overthinking. Because I always did that growing up. I mean, I was bullied, I was teased and tormented. So I overthink. I always overanalyze. I always thought, well, maybe I'm making a big deal out of something that's really not a big deal. So I meet with a female counselor. We go through a couple of sessions. She knows I'm struggling in golf. She knows I'm a female, and I figured a female can understand me and relate to me better. So I went with a female. Did a couple of sessions, and I come to her office one day and I sit down and she says, hey, Erin, we need to talk. I'm like, well, yeah, of course. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk, like to work through this. Because no, I don't think we're a good fit. Sorry, what? So I'm just in awe of what she just said. We are not a good fit. I said, what do you mean we're not a good fit? I came here to get help and you're rejecting me? You're abandoning me? No, wait, Erin, I've got somebody else I want you to talk to. It's like, all right, fine. Who's this person you want me to talk to? Well, his name is Dr. Darden. He was a basketball player in college, and I think he can help you with the athletic side of you and the academic side of you. He understands to navigate both worlds, and you're struggling because you can't play golf and your grades are slipping. I said, yeah. So I want you to meet him. So she walks me over to this guy's office, and I'm short, so I'm wearing heels today, but I don't like the short in college. And I'm looking at the ground, and he goes, it's nice to meet you, Erin Bush. And I said, I wouldn't even look at this guy. Like, he's like 6 something. He was tall, and he was intimidating. He was a big guy, and do you want me, as an 18-year-old female, to talk about my problems with this guy? Why would I talk to a guy that doesn't understand the female whatever, right? Like, I gotta talk about everything. So he introduces me into his office. We walk into his office, and there's 2 blue chairs, one in each corner. He said, Erin, go ahead and have a seat. So I curl up in a blue chair. My knees with my arms wrapped around them, my head in my lap, scared that I was in trouble, to be told I was worthless, and what was I thinking being a part of a team that I couldn't even participate in? He didn't say those words to me. He let me sit there in my curled up little ball for the whole hour. He tried to ask me questions, he tried to engage me, and I just wouldn't open up. I totally clammed up. And I reluctantly scheduled another session with him when our session was over. And I kept showing up week after week to sit in the blue chair. And as I sat in the blue chair, I started to bring in my baggage. I started to unpack all of the stuff I had been carrying my entire life. We talked about the golf injury. We talked about the trauma as a child. We talked about me not being good enough. We talked about all the things that caused my ego to step in during that bump and run and say, stop. And it stopped me. It put me on the sidelines. And we unpacked it. And he told me one day, I told him, I'm an onion and I don't like doing this. I don't like digging deep and peeling these layers back. Onions sting, they make you cry, and this sucks. I said, no, Erin, you're not an onion. Your life may be like an onion. I was like, thanks a lot. But Erin, you are a pearl. Me, Erin, a pearl. That's funny. You're losing it. I thought I lost it, but you're really losing it. And he goes, no, Erin, do you know how pearls are formed? And I said, well, yeah, I mean, a grain of sand gets in a clam and it irritates it and it coats it and it makes it to this beautiful pearl. And he said, yes, that's what you're doing with all of your traumas. That's what you're doing with all the things that are challenging you. You're taking those things, you're not letting them define you, and you're making something beautiful. And that beautiful thing is going to become your life. And I did not understand that metaphor or that analogy or any of those words until 25 years ago. Well, not 25 years, I'm not that old. Okay, 18 years, whatever it may be. I was like, what? So when I got invited back to Rutgers University to talk, that's when it hit me that Dr. Darden knew what he was doing. He invited me to sit in this blue chair because of my golf injury and to unwrap all the baggage, all of the things I have stuffed down inside for all of those years for a golf injury to take me off the sidelines. He gave me permission to say, hey, Erin, you are not defined by your circumstances. You have taken everything that's been thrown at you and you have created the trajectory for your life. You are just you. And I didn't know what that meant. I was like, I'm not me. I am a nobody. If I'm just Erin, I am a nobody. I'm Erin the golfer, and that's what I'm supposed to do. That was my dream. And you're telling me that that may not be my dream, that that's not what might happen. So I'm healing from this wrist injury, but more importantly, I'm healing mentally and spiritually, internally, from all the traumas. That wrist injury did heal. But before it healed, he told me, Erin, you need to think about your life, because what if you never play golf again? That's me. Never play golf again. I worked my entire 18 years of my life to play golf, and you're telling me I have to think about what might happen if I don't play golf? I may never play golf. Erin, we don't know if your wrist is gonna heal and if you can hit a golf ball. He goes, do the work. Go to physical therapy. Do the things you need to do. But in the meantime, look for a plan B. You've been so focused on a plan A that you forgot that there's a plan B, C, D, and all the way to Z. You can have a plan A, but it doesn't mean you have to follow through with it. And he goes, I think you should join an organization. I'm like, I am not joining a math club. Like, it ain't happening. He's like, that's fine, we have a lot of them here at Rutgers. And I said, okay. He goes, so we have, these clubs, and I think you should join Plus. And I'm like, that sounds like math to me. Plus? Really? I said no. He goes, no. Plus stands for peers, listening, understanding, and supporting. And I said, I'm not joining a counseling club for peers to judge me. I've had that my whole life. I'm here with you. You're supposed to help me, so that I didn't go. He goes, no, that's not what they do. What they do is they help other students navigate college life and find organizations that they can be a part of and feel good to be a part of. I said, okay, great, I'll go to a meeting. So I went to a meeting, and I'm hearing them, and I didn't realize I was outspoken until I said our name sucked. I said, your guys' name sucks. The organization's great, but the name sucks. And they said, okay, genius, what should it be? I said, did I really just say that? And I didn't like the spotlight, unless I was playing ball. So I told them, well, it should be peers. Like, that's what our organization should be. And they're like, well, it has to be an acronym. I'm like, well, that's stupid. Why does it have to be an acronym? Because everything has to be an acronym. CHICS is an acronym. Everything has to be an acronym. Because that's how people remember. I said, well, and they're like, so genius, what is it? And I said, positively educating each Rocker student. Boom. They're like, okay, great, now you're president. I'm like, wait, I'm sorry, what? No, I just wanted to be a part of this organization. I didn't want to lead it. I'm not a leader. I'm a golfer. I don't know how to speak in public. No, I like to stay behind the shadows because that's where people put me in my life, in the shadows. So no. They're like, nope, you're president. You have great ideas. I'm like, so I was president of that organization for 4 years. That's where I developed leadership skills, communication skills, speaking skills. And I love the spotlight. I mean, I bodybuilt for 8 years and an itty bitty sparkly bikini, so hey, put the spotlight on me and I'm happy. So my wrist injury did heal, but while the wrist injury healed, I was healing mentally. And I developed a plan B, because I didn't know if my plan A was gonna be available. So through college, I learned that it was okay to just be Erin. But I wanted to be Erin the golfer, because that was was my childhood dream. But Dr. Darden told me I am more than my sport. Golf doesn't define me, my traumas don't define me, my past doesn't define me, and I am more than my sport. And do I like who I see in the mirror looking back at me? Do I like what makes me me? And if I don't, then why? How do I fix that? I seek help. I get to know me because my whole life I was told I was a nobody, that I was unlovable, unlikable, and no one was gonna like me regardless of anything I did or said or whatever. But I really liked who I was. I really thought I was pretty cool. I mean, I thought the squirrels and bunnies that I would talk to thought I was cool. I saved anthills in elementary school and they liked me. But my peers didn't like me. And that was really hard because I felt betrayed by the human race. I felt like I was put on this planet as a mistake. So when I met Dr. Darden and I sat in that blue chair and I was told that my life was a pearl and I was more than my sport, I had an aha moment. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. At the end of the day, it matters what you think of you. Because we spend more time with ourselves than anybody else. Our dreams and our aspirations are with us all the time. Our thoughts are powerful, and if you're talking down to yourself, you are your worst bully. It's not something you can just turn off, but it's something you can work on and say, I'm pretty badass. I'm pretty amazing. And people might think that's cocky. They might think it's arrogant, and they might think you're full of yourself. So what? Because you have to like you. And Dr. Darden said, Erin, who is Erin? Who does she want to be? And is she okay with that? Now, I didn't solve those problems in 4 years. But I'm still a work in progress. I'm pretty badass. And I tell people I'm a badass. But here's the thing. I'm just Erin. And you're just you. That's it. I asked you at the beginning of this talk, who are you and what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, we're going to do something weird. And you're going to speak up out loud to everybody. And you're just going to say, I am in your name. Because I'm Erin. However, I speak, I play golf, I teach golf, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a book launch expert, I'm an author, I'm a badass. Those don't define me. Those are things I do or enjoy. But I'm just Erin at the end of the day. Just Erin. I am Erin. So that's all you're going to do. There's going to be no other words after it. I am in your name. I am Shauna.
I'm Denon.
I am Chrissy.
I am Kelly. I am I am Liz.
I am Jason.
And you are all badasses. Now, how did that feel? Honestly, how did that feel? Okay, powerful. That felt powerful. What else?
Comforting.
Huh?
Comforting.
Comforting. Anyone else? Good. 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 I'm not hearing. Not hearing needs anybody.
Validated.
Validated. Right? So when we meet people, we're always so quick to say, I am Erin, I'm an author. I am Shauna, I'm a TopGolf associate. I am Christina, I'm a life coach. I am whatever, and then we have to fill in the blank because the silence scares us to death. The silence behind our name makes us feel unworthy. However, that silence is the most powerful silence of your life. I am Erin. That's it. I am Yvonne. I am Shauna. I am Whoever you are you, and that's all that matters, because we are only given one life to live, and the most important part of our life is that dash between our birth date and our death date, and we have no idea how long that dash is. I have come in to death more than I'd like to count. Shauna can vouch. I almost died 12 years ago on Valentine's Day when I slingshot myself in the face with a metal rod. I should have died that day. But by the grace of God and the universe, I didn't. I have made it my life's mission to pour into others because others didn't pour into me. I never want other people to feel unworthy, unvalidated, or less than. And fortunately, looking back on my life when I wrote my first book, From Being a Badass, I discovered I had so many cheerleaders along the way. I had my dad who taught me strength. I had my mom who taught me self-acceptance because she didn't really validate me in so many different ways. She did the best she could. I do not blame her. My brother taught me tenacity. I had amazing golf mentors. I had amazing coaches who taught me discipline, determination. My second grade teacher taught me faith. Dr. Darden taught me growth. And without those guiding lights, I wouldn't be who I am today. But with all of that, I'm just Erin. And that makes me more than enough. It makes me more. It makes you are more. That is the point of this message today, is to let you understand that you are more. There's nothing after the more, you are just more. And it is perfectly and perfectly perfect. You are on this earth to do something with your life as you. Nobody else can do that except for you. You have a gift, you have a talent, you have a calling, and whatever that is, you need to focus on it. I didn't know, as a little girl who was putting her whole identity into golf, that my stage was pouring into others. I thought it was supposed to be playing golf and showing people how good I was at something. But my purpose is pouring into others and explaining that they are more. You are more, just as you are. You don't have anything to prove. You don't have anything to defend. You don't have anything to show off. You're a perfect human being. And our flaws, our challenges, our experiences, our circumstances are simply a roadmap of where we've been, where we are, and where we're headed. So, I want you all on the count of 3, as loud as you can. And if you don't do it right, I'll make you do it again.
One more!
Yep. You're going to scream. I don't care how loud we are, to make the people hear it on the deck. Oh boy. Alright? You're going to say, you are more, as loud as you can, and make eye contact with some people. And if you don't do it loud enough, I'll make you do it again. You ready? 1, 2, 3. You are! That was good. That was good. All right. So that's great. That's all I got for you. I do want you to ask me questions. I want us to have a discussion because I do believe we have time. So let's ask questions. Let's talk. And I'm going to hand it to Shauna first.
First of all,
Well, no, I have a lot of them as it is.
When you realized that you weren't going to be playing that season, did you continue to play any other season?
I did. So I did heal. I got to play my second, third, and fourth year. But I was devastated. I was heartbroken. I felt defeated. I felt broken. I felt unworthy. And here I was helping all these other people and encouraging them. And I couldn't play the game that I loved so much. It broke me.
Did they encourage you when you came back?
yeah, everybody was very supportive. They were glad to have me back. I was really bummed that I had that injury.
Yeah.
But looking back, the season-ending injury was the best thing that could have happened to me because it ended me up in the blue chair. And that blue chair became more than a piece of furniture with blue fabric. It became a saving grace. But we don't see those saving graces until years later. So yeah, I did get to play. I teach golf. I'm amazing at it. Yeah. No shame in my game. But yeah, I did get to go back and play. So yeah.
I didn't know if you ever did.
Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of
Yeah.
keep it.
Yeah. Golf will always be part of me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Always has.
Oh yeah. Even when I was bodybuilding, I was not allowed to really play it, but I still have an itch for it. So it's been my defining thing, and I still struggle with that. I still struggle with being just Erin, and I don't think that ever goes away for any of us, because I'll catch myself and I'll say, oh, I'm Erin, I'm a keynote speaker, and I have to go, oh, I'm just Erin. Or, you know, I do write books, I do speak to corporations, I do all these things, but those are just things I do, it's not who I am. Other questions?
Can you share with us a little bit about bodybuilding, how that came to be?
Yeah, actually, Shauna knows this story. So I mentioned that I wrote my first book, From Being a Badass, My Journey of Broken Blessings and How I Became My Own Hero. That book takes place from birth to 34 years old. I was in a severe abusive relationship in 2008. Somebody who was in the golf industry actually, which made me step away from the golf industry and take a break because I felt golf had betrayed me as my first love. And so I was beaten, I was raped, I was assaulted by someone I was in a relationship with, and one day the little girl inside of me, or we all have a little girl, we all have that little boy that we need to protect as adults because we couldn't do it as a child. Well, that child stepped up one day and I kicked the guy out. I called him the monster. I kicked him out, and I didn't know who I was. I didn't have golf. I had lost my job in the golf industry. I didn't have a relationship, and I felt like a nobody. And I felt completely out of control. And so I decided to take my control back. And I saw this woman when I was working at this gym down in Castle Rock walk through, and she was just amazing. She was muscles and beautiful. And she walked into one of the coach's offices, and I said, hey, after she left, I was like, who is that? And how do I look like that? I was skinny, scrawny, bridle. And he goes, oh, she's a figure competitor. And I was like, well, what does it take to do that? He goes, you control everything you eat, control everything you do. And I'm like, sign me up. Because all my control had been taken away from me, and I wanted so desperately to control everything. So I got into bodybuilding, and it allowed me to control what I ate, what I did, how I worked out. I mean, how much I slept, when I got up, when I did this, when I did that. I fell in love with it, and I was good. I picked the most expensive sports, golf and bodybuilding, you know? Like, come on. So I did bodybuilding for 8 years. I dominated Colorado, and stage was, she's seen me. And I retired in 2016 after nationals because somebody told me I wouldn't go to the next level if I didn't do steroids. And I wanted to try to start a family. So I said, I will hang up my suit and my heels and try to start a family. And so that's what I did. And I trained a lot of competitors that did really well. I'm still a personal trainer, but that world has turned in such a negative aspect as far as like where it's going and what it does, that I knew that if I kept going, I'd be doing it for the wrong reasons and not the right reasons. So, we have to look at what we're doing, and if we're not doing it for the right reasons, we know if we're not doing it for the right reasons, then it's time to step away. So I stepped away after 8 years, but I have like 13 trophies. So I had a really good time with it, but I got into it because I was in a very abusive relationship where I was beaten and raped, and I wanted my control back.
Thank you, sure.
Yeah, it's in my book. Sure, I'm an open book. Like, no shame. So yeah, any other questions? Don't be shy.
I often find times where I've heard many people say you have to be selfish when it comes to your own happiness. Sometimes you have to again put yourself first. There are times here, I'm glad we were able to talk about the culture stuff that exact same feeling. So sometimes I feel like I have to be very selfish with that because it's almost like I have to put myself forward in doing that, and if I don't, then it's kind of just like an empty shell, an empty promise. But I was wondering if maybe like you have to have any of those experiences being selfish when it comes to happiness, or if you feel like you should put yourself behind someone else's happiness in order for you to feel that happiness. So sometimes I struggle with that myself.
I'm gonna change your word choice. It is not selfish, it's selfless. Because if you are looking at it from a selfish perspective, then you're thinking that you're making other people sacrifice. But if you're selfless, then you're acting out for yourself and allowing others to feel the joy that you have. So we can't look at it as selfish, and I really hate that word because selfish is such a negative connotation. And if you're not happy, then nobody wants to be around you. You know, and so if you're doing something that brings you joy, you're giving others permission to be joyful or to experience something that maybe they will find joyful. And for me, I don't think you should hide behind anybody. I did that for years with my sister. I was always in her shadow. And nobody likes to look at their shadow, right? So I think you gotta become friends with your own shadow, and you have to do the things that are gonna bring you joy and that bring you happiness, because that also shows other people, oh, if they're happy, I can be happy too. If they're enjoying it, I can enjoy it too. You know, a lot of people put golf down, and I teach golf, and I have a lot of fun with it. Like, I laugh during my lessons, I, you know, have metaphors and all these different things. People are like, you really enjoy this. And so, yeah, it's not really about the money. I mean, yes, I need the money to live. I need the money to pay my bills. However, you have to do, if you didn't get paid, what would it be that you do? Right? So you have to find the things that bring you joy, and they're not selfish. They're not selfish at all. They're actually the way you're supposed to live. You're not supposed to feel bad about living your best life. And I think that we're taught at such a young age that, like, don't put yourself first because that's selfish. But if you don't put yourself first, you don't fill your cup, you can't fill anybody else's cup, and you can't put anybody else in the path of making themselves happy. Okay, we're all shy. No questions? Is this the time to ask? I mean, you said you were gonna go to the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
So
like, I know I like cut in and out because I had babies, but, yeah, kind of crazy when I come in and I hear parts of your story. It kind of resonated with me. I don't want to cry about it.
it's okay to cry.
I know.
It's, oh my God, it's okay. If you don't cry, it's gonna come out in some form.
Yeah.
Your ego's gonna get the best of you, and you're gonna end up in a blue chair. Which everybody needs to find their own blue chair. However,
Yeah, I think mine is a flower chair. Like,
Flower power all the
mine is
way.
floral in my backyard, actually. So yeah, I know.
So
but-
find your blue chair. Find somewhere where you feel safe. Like, I still talk to Dr. Darden this today. Like, we talk not all the time, but every time I go back to Kansas City, we get together.
Yeah.
And he's one of my greatest mentors, but he's now a friend. Like, if it wasn't for that woman who I thought, you know, my first counselor, if it wasn't for her saying we're not a good fit, yes, I felt betrayed. Yes, I felt abandoned. Yes, I felt rejected. But she did the best thing for me, and that was giving me to Dr. Darden so I could sit in that wheelchair. And it's okay to cry, because if you don't, it will come out some way or some form. And so if there are battle wounds, well, let's not give yourself one right now.
It's all good.
If there are battle wounds that are still scabbed over, pick that scab and look in and say, okay, what mess do we need to clean out and how do they heal? You have to let yourself cry, or scream, or hit the hell out of a golf ball. I don't know what it is. You can pretend it's somebody's face. I don't care, but you gotta release it. Because if you don't release it, it will find a way to keep coming back up.
Well, it was just crazy because you were talking about your injury, your wrist injury in high school. Like, it's kind of funny, like, you're like, I'm a golfer. Like, that's what I was just a swimmer. Like, I didn't want to go to college unless I had a scholarship. I wasn't, like, counselors would be like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And it's like, well, I'm gonna swim. I'm like, that's what I'm doing. And my senior year in high school, I got in a car accident, and it was like, I was sitting in my friend's car, and we were going 20 miles an hour, and this car hit us. I whiplashed sideways. That weekend I had a swim meet, and I literally tore my right rotator cuff. And a swimming at 200 free, which usually I'm really good at, but like the third length, I literally had a pop that I get pulled out of the water. And I thought everything was ruined because, like, I needed a scholarship. Like, that's what I was gonna do, you know? And it was crazy because I busted my ass. Like, my freshman year in college, I had a red shirt because I couldn't swim. I had to do all the rehab that you could possibly do. Like, I had 4 scholarships to 4 colleges to pay my way to do all that. And it was crazy because I red shirt, I bust my ass, and I remember, like, my mom, she told me, she's like, you need to be careful with your shoulder. And I didn't do any surgery because, like, I had doctors tell me all the time, they're like, if you get surgery, you won't be able to swim anymore. Your stroke will be different. You just won't make it. And I'm like, my goal was to go to the Olympics. Like, I will be there, you know? And my sophomore year, I finally, like, am able to swim. I had a coach that was, like, mean, but, like, awesome at the same time. Like, she knew exactly what kind of goals I wanted. I probably didn't do the best of, like, healthiness to get myself there. Like, I would eat a shit ton of protein, but then I would literally not eat just so I could just build the muscle and the strength just to go there. I'd swim twice a day. I'd swim like 6 hours a day, like, just to get it, and I'd lift, and then I remember my first swim meet after being cleared and everything like that. I swam against Amy Van Dyken, and we swam the 200 free together, and she beat me by 1 arm length. And I remember it directly because she spit in my lane, and I was pissed. Because they do, like, you know, sport things, you congratulate the sporting person, and I congratulate her. I swam over the rope, and I congratulate her, and she spit right in my lane, and I was like, oh, that'll never happen again when I see you. Like, and I ended up getting 2nd place, but my mom was so worried, like, that I couldn't swim correctly because of my injury and everything like that. And I didn't have surgery because I don't believe in surgery unless I absolutely have to have it. And my body healed and everything like that. And then I ended up going to conference. I was an All-American. I ended up going to Olympic trials. And I went for the mile because I wanted to be Janet Evans, who is an Olympian, like, short little girl. She's probably the size of you. And she was a badass Olympian, and she won multiple gold medals in the mile and all that stuff, and that's why I went to the Olympic trials and swim mile. I placed 76, obviously they take the top 3, so I was nowhere near, but, like, that was the closest. And then after that, I ended up doing CrossFit and all that good stuff, and master swimming. But yeah, like, the injury thing is, when you talked about your wrist, I was like, I don't know, like, because that's what I thought I was Chris is from, like, that's what it is. Like, other families would read about me in the paper. Like, the other day I started crying because they tore down my swimming pool that I actually, like, swim at in Arvada because they're building a bigger. Yeah, they're building a bigger pool, but it was so funny because I started crying over it, and I'm like, God, there's so many memories there. Like, I swam there when I was 4. I swam there when I was in high school. Like, I swam against Amy Van Dyken there. Like, her and I are actually friends. And I know, like, a few years ago, she got in a really bad ATV accident where she's now paralyzed. I don't know if you guys knew that, but, yeah, she's paralyzed from her T12 down. And, but, yeah, her and I are still really good friends because I ended up spitting on her too. Like, not good, you know, but I mean, it was like a knife or a knife. I was like, girl, like, come on. But, no, like, it just resonated with me, so thank you for that. But, yeah, I was just like, damn, Chrissy the swimmer, like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And all through high school, it was literally like, counselors, what do you wanna be, where do you wanna go to college, what do you wanna do? And I'm like, I don't wanna go anywhere unless I have a scholarship, like, I'm not going anywhere, like, I'm gonna have a scholarship. And not kidding, the 4 scholarships came after I talked to the Air Force, cause I was like, if I don't get a scholarship to college, I'll go into the Air Force, cause I know they have a swim team.
Right.
So I was like, I'll go into the Air Force. And then literally 2 days later, 4 scholarships were on my door. And I was like, thank God, you know? And it's probably like, you guys didn't probably know a lot about that about me, but yeah.
Yeah, being an athlete's hard. I mean, we're told that we gotta stay
Yeah.
strong, we gotta keep together. Like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes.
Yeah, and then after all that, then I literally did a couple of triathlons. I did 1 aquathon, and then I did some master swimming, and then I moved it to dryland. And then I've done nothing but CrossFit since. So, here we are. Yeah, right?
I get that.
Yeah, so thank you.
Well, thank you for
I'm
sharing.
sorry for crying.
Oh, do not.
Chrissy, when I first met Erin and she was training me, I was going through my divorce. And I wanna say 99% of the time that I was lifting or on the treadmill or on the stairs, I was bawling my eyes out. She's like, it's okay, let it out, find who you are. I'm like, I was always Shauna the mom. What are you now? I'm like, I don't know. Well, you need to figure it out. Go ahead and cry.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that you can get that out. Erin had taught me so much during that period of time. It just resonates
Yeah.
so well.
And it's
you have to
crazy
be able
because like,
to
yeah,
allow
that
yourself-
floral chair like literally is in my backyard in that place.
I literally have the blue chair that's
Yeah.
at my, well, I have 2 of them. Not even kidding. I ordered them on Amazon.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting a podcast.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
because I
cool.
want to have real conversations with real people and say, hey, let's talk about it. Let's unwrap what it is that you need to unwrap because you are more. Like that's the biggest message is you are more. There's nothing after that. There's nothing before that. You are more as spicy.
Yeah, spicy.
Sometimes it's okay to not be okay.
It is.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like my mom passed away in 2015 and she saw a CrossFit competition because I would do CrossFit competitions after that and I wanted to be the best too in CrossFit. Like I wanted to lift as much as I could and throw
Just check that
weights.
ego. Just check that
Yeah, but it was like, well, and I did it because like a lot of CrossFit athletes are young, like they're like 23 and they're like throwing weight around. Here I am, I'm 44, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep up with you, like don't you worry, or you're gonna keep up with me. Like I have that little competitive streak in me. And then in 2015, my mom saw my last competition and then she passed away. And then after that, that's when I became like, I don't know who I am anymore. Like,
You do. You just have to
yeah,
ask
like
yourself
I'm,
questions.
yeah, you're still working. Like I know
Always
I
working.
am Chrissy, but it's like, again, I'm like, am I really Chrissy sometimes? Like, or am I like a spicy Chrissy, or am I like,
You're all
like
like
a Chrissy? Like what's happening? Like what's happening? Like sometimes I'm like, damn, like what's going on? And
You're
like,
You
in
just
all
have
the
to
other
look in the mirror and like who you are. You have to love who you are. Because if you don't love who you are,
Yeah.
why?
yeah.
Who's telling you the things?
Well, I think it's more just like, if nobody's telling me, like, I also, like, have been in a abusive relationship a long time ago too. but-
That screws it all up.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
probably, and then,
Big part of it.
yeah, and then, like, my mom died, and then I was in that relationship, and then it was like, my whole life story here to
Yeah.
you right now,
You're
but
okay.
other than that,
Should
like,
just record.
now
We are
it's
recording.
just.
I'll just put it on the podcast.
But yeah, so it's been taking a hot little minute, and it doesn't take just like days or months.
It's never
like,
over.
yeah, I know, it still goes, and
Yeah.
like there's little things, like even now in my family life that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I deal with, and I'm like, why do I deal with this? Like this is, but then I'm like, I'm Chrissy, here we are, this is what's, and like faith and grace and God like is all around, and I know like He doesn't give you anything that you can't handle, and I'm aware of that. Like when
I'm aware of that too, but I still hate that line.
yeah,
I
exactly.
do not like
But
that line.
it's just like, yeah, you know, like I got it. Like, and then that's when you say, like, to me, I'm like, I'm a badass.
Yeah.
Like, I know I am.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm doing all this and I'm still handling it and I still put on a face and I still show up and I'm still happy and I try to make everybody else happy and like I'm trying to exuberate that, you know, positivity. And yes, like when I have my moments, like I know Liz has seen some of my moments, but like, I still, you know, wash it off, let's go, I know I'm a badass, let's get it together.
Doesn't mean it doesn't suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Love it.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Don't apologize for that. I won't hit you, but I'll.
We'll do a push-up contest.
She'll encourage you.
I had 5 surgeries
And she
in
will say,
2022,
you need to
so-
go down further, now hold
Right?
it.
Yes, hold it. God, do you remember all this?
Touch my fists.
How you're letting all my secrets out. God, you remember all that? I thought maybe you forgot.
I still have all of my
Plans?
workouts.
Wow.
There you go, she wrote them down.
Oh, I always write it down.
She wrote them all down with me as I go back.
There you go.
I have
I've had too
Got
many.
busted
I've had
out.
too many concussions. I had a TBI from that freak accident. I had like 6 concussions that followed within that 2-year period, and I write everything down because I know that I'm sure everything down. But now your turn.
Anything?
Well, I'm not gonna talk because I am menopausal and my kids are growing up and I don't know who I am anymore. I cried a lot at the first kid meeting I came to and I cried a lot, so same.
Tissues, we need tissues.
I do relate to you guys in a little bit of a sense of when I was growing up, I played sports, like played softball and I was in gymnastics and cheered and a lot of stuff, but like cheer became my thing and I loved it, and it's people who never did it don't realize how much freaking work it is and how much you work out and like whatever, but I loved it and I loved being competitive, and in high school I got whatever grades I needed to get to cheer and run track like that. You know, because I didn't care about school and I wasn't the smartest girl in the class, so I remember, and I was just telling you I worry about my son with this because I remember my life was like sports.
Yeah.
I had practice and games like all the time forever. And then when I graduated high school, I didn't go to college, all my friends went to college, I went to community college, and then I was like, well, who am I? And what do I do with myself?
Yeah.
Like, I work out. And then I didn't work out anymore, and I didn't have any of those things to go to, and the sisterhood that surrounded you in that, and so I relate
We
with
as,
that.
we as humans, we tend to replace the thing that we can't do anymore, right? We replace it with something else, we replace it with something else. We keep replacing it because we're so afraid to just be us, like by ourselves without anything to do. Like I work 5 different jobs, right? A lot. We do a lot of different things.
I have 3 jobs.
It's
I
really,
relate that.
right? It's really hard to just be in the quiet, in the silence. And that's where the strength comes from, is the silence. It's not the noise, it's not the things we do, it's within the silence where we really can discover how powerful we really are as ourselves.
Okay, then I have a question for you because, my dad passed away last summer, so I've been in therapy, and she was like, well, I don't remember the question. It was something like, well, how do you see yourself, and like something about like life, and my husband and I both bust our asses trying to pay for all of our kids' competitive sports and whatever, and we work hard, and it's funny because we live in Denver, but we actually make a good amount of money, but we never have any. So we're constantly just working and working, but, and now that my kids are growing up, that's like, okay, well, now I've been busting my ass for all this time for these kids, and that's all I do. Like when people are like, what do you do for fun? I'm like, I watch soccer games. It's fun, and I do love it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be weird when that goes away, but, I was telling her, like, it's weird because I feel like I'm always stressful and I don't want to bring like stressful energy, but I'm constantly like, I am stressed out. I'm tired and burnt out, like whatever, but I just keep going. But it was funny because when she asked me that, I was like, well, in my core, and if I see like my actual being, it's me waking up in the morning and sitting on my yoga mat with my coffee and meditating and stretching and feeling good within myself. And when I do have those moments, like I'm a whole different person. And I wish, I don't know how to create that for myself, like within the life.
Do you wake up an hour later?
Oh, I do. I do that.
So make it a non-negotiable. make it a non-negotiable, because if you have a non-negotiable in your life, then you have to do it. It's something you want to do, but you have to make it a non-negotiable. So for me, my non-negotiables in my life have always been get to the gym. First thing in the morning, no clients get my non-negotiable time. That is my time. My non-negotiable now, so I mean, my schedule has shifted for peak season for golf, so I get to work out on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. For sure, those are my non-negotiable days. Tuesday is my non-negotiable, I play golf with my league. Nobody's gonna stand in my way, because I gave up on my non-negotiable back in 2021 to be a part of a networking group on my Tuesdays, so I had to give up golf because they were at the same time. And I hated myself for it because I had betrayed my non-negotiable. So you have to put those non-negotiables in your life that are non-negotiable. So if you, at your core, like to be on that yoga mat with your cup of coffee, stretching, then you need to create that, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't care if you have to lock yourself in a bathroom. You have to make it a non-negotiable, because that's being truthful and honest with yourself and letting you live the best life you can. Because again, it's your life.
Well, okay, so I wake up every morning and have coffee and sit in my chair, but I'm instantly checking my emails and what do I need to do and what do my kids have
Put the
coming?
phone away.
Like, I can't shut it off.
Make your non-negotiable. You are not allowed to pick up that phone until your non-negotiable has been met. Until you have filled your cup, figuratively and literally, on that yoga mat, stretching and drinking your coffee. That phone stays off until you fulfill your non-negotiable. And you can do it. Now you can come up with excuses of why you won't do it, but it's because you feel guilty. So you gotta look at that guilt. Why do you feel guilty if you fulfill that non-negotiable?
We're almost like, I'm afraid I'll forget something or I won't be prepared or whatever if I don't look at the things.
But your non-negotiable allows you to be more focused on the other things in your life.
Yeah.
So you have to fulfill your non-negotiable. I don't care if it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it may be. You don't do anything else until that non-negotiable is met. Period. And you now have people in this room that are gonna hold you accountable. Say, hey, how was your non-negotiable today? Right? Like I can count on all of you to now say, hey, how was your non-negotiable? And you'll be like what? Oh shit, right? Because if you don't fulfill it, they might make you come in here and do it. I mean, I don't know.
It's literally the same when I go to bed at night. Like, I can't shut it off. I lay in bed at night and think about the rest of the week or what I have to do tomorrow or what.
We all do. Get a hatch alarm.
I can't shut it off. I don't know.
You used to make me journal.
I
You
get
used to make me
journaling
write
is like
down.
one of the best things you can do is journaling. I need to do it again. But everybody's like, when are you gonna write your next book? I'm like, can I just speak and like, can I take a break, please? Like, why do we have to rush on to the next thing? So
I do journal. Well, I don't right now, but I love journaling, and it's something that I have
so
done
make
in the
that
past.
another non-negotiable.
Mhm.
Do your non-negotiable
Journal
in the
before
morning.
bed.
Yes.
Meditate in the morning.
At our last shift luncheon, it was about the social media with, then brought like a video of Simon Sinek and everything like that, and Yvonne talked about how there was like, we did this thing like a wellness, was it like a wellness Wednesday, where it was like, try not to touch your phone for like 30 minutes. And people, right, is that what you're like?
Yeah.
Like try not to touch your phone or look at your phone for 30 minutes, and if you can do it, like kind of keep it like that. So maybe do like a thing where you do your yoga, your mat thing for 20 minutes. In that 20 minutes, you don't look at your phone. Because when I work out for an hour and a half, I don't look at my phone. And then
I
like,
don't when I'm at the gym either.
yeah, it's like, and it's crazy because I'll wear my Beats and my phone is with me with my music, and I don't look at anything. And like people will be like, the work chat is blowing up and like, oh, can you take this, or do you guys wanna switch this? Like Jeffrey yesterday, like, hey, can you come in and like work a shorter shift? And I didn't get that until I was done. Like I don't do anything with work until I am done with my workout.
And isn't it crazy that we think something so important might happen in 30 minutes if we're not looking at our phone? Sometimes I laugh at myself and I'm like, I mean, who do you think you are? Like, are you that important that you might get a message that's like life altering?
Well, you are important, but like maybe just start with 20 minutes, and in that 20 minutes, have your yoga time, put your phone away, have your coffee, stretch, do what you need to do, and have that phone like off the side.
Here's the thing,
Creating
like
that
imagine,
routine.
Yeah.
like imagine that you're bringing the light into you so you can shine it out. But if you don't have that non-negotiable to bring that light in, You gotta recharge yourself.
It's hard when you're used to like doing everything for everyone else.
It'll
It's
be
about
hard, it'll
creating
be
a
hard,
habit.
it'll be hard
It'll
at
be hard.
first.
There'll be days you'll come in and they'll ask you and you'll be like, no. And you'll feel guilty, but there's no guilt. It'll be like, well, how can we help you? How can we support your non-negotiables? Do you want to make sure that, you know, we have lunch prepared for you so you can do your non-negotiable and then eat, you know, or whatever it may be. Like you have to build a village, a community. I don't have a whole lot of friends, but the friends I do have, I know I can call Shauna and say, Shauna, I really need you. I really need you right now. I can call Christina and she'll come to my beck and call. I needed her today because somebody bailed on me. I know I can call my other friend Gina and say, I need you. I need to go play golf and just smack the ball. You know I may not hang out with them every day. I may not, you know, see them all the time or talk to them all the time, but I know who is my support and who my community is and who I can rely on. And at the end of the day, if I've got 5, I'm doing pretty good. So you have to, I mean, they now know what your non-negotiable is. You now know what her non-negotiable is. So start talking, start having real conversations with the people you work with. It's okay to get to know them. You know, we spend a lot of time on our phone and we don't make eye contact. People are afraid of eye contact. So I will look you dead in the eye. I'll look you dead in the eye. I'll either make you cry or laugh or scream. And, you know, we gotta have real conversations. We have to get to know people because this thing in our hand has taken that too much power from us. You can't let it have that power. I mean, there's times where I'm just constantly scrolling and I'm like, what am I doing? So now I play mini golf on my phone. Like if I want my phone in my hand, I'm playing mini golf.
Do Tetris.
So like, there's this book called Do Not Disturb. It's about putting your phone on. I haven't read it yet. I've had it for like 5 years, but I haven't read it yet. But it's the purpose of putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. So like today, I got a text message and I was like, oh, nope, I'm not gonna look at it because I am here to pour into people. Like I can't go to that. If I answer that, it's gonna put me in the wrong mindset. So back away. It's not important. What's important is what I'm doing right now. So find your non-negotiables, find the things that bring you joy, be selfless. Be selfish because it's not selfish. You know, people always say, oh, I put my kids first. Well, you gotta take care of you first. And I would tell Shauna that all the time. Take care of you first because then you can take better care of your kids.
There's a reason they tell you to put your face mask on first.
Just
on
about
the
to
airplane.
say that. Yeah.
Do what?
Say
They
what?
tell you to put your face mask on first on an airplane.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You've got to bring the light in for you because we're supposed to shine bright in our own being. And we're more. We are more. Period. So thank you for sharing.
Erin, thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming in.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me out of the blue. Like what? Okay.
Vaughn, you got any fun? You up? I gave you tissue.
I know. Spicy Christmas.
My husband's gonna meet you where you're at.
What about me?
It's okay.
It's interesting that you said, you gotta put yourself first. When I finished culinary school and then moved back in with my parents. And I, met my best friend and then out of the blue, she's like, let's move to Denver. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't talk it over with anybody and I talked to my boys and they were 8 and 3 at the time. And I said, I'm gonna move to Denver. And I was like, but it's gonna be great because I'm gonna be really happy and a happy mommy is gonna be great for you because happy mommy is gonna be happy boys. And they didn't know what the hell, they didn't know what was coming their way. But it really worked out.
So you put yourself first.
I did,
Good.
and I didn't know I was doing that. But here we are.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
You're happy mommy. You're happy mommy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for sharing. You didn't share.
She's so
Did not. I mean, like we said, same thing with her, same thing with Chrissy. My biggest thing was softball. I was always a softball player. I was gonna go to that. Softball was my sport for college. My junior year, I tore my quad pitching, so I couldn't keep going, and that actually mentally took a toll on me. After I healed, and I was not the same, so I couldn't play I was close to quitting. My dad wanted to pay me every week just to keep playing. But he never came to the games, he never showed up, so it was kinda like, why force that? And kinda just had to figure out whatever, and I then just tried to excel in a different position, instead of pitching and having to figure that out. My parents then forced me to go to college and said, you have to, otherwise you're kind of just pretty much on your own. And so going to there, playing at a college level, but I never really had the support from anyone really. It was more of just like, you have to do it, if you don't do it, that sucks. But I never, like my coach in college never really made me want to continue, he never wanted to bet or anything. He was never really pushed, it was always just figure it out on your own, and there you go.
I'm sorry you went through that.
So now I moved to Colorado, and it was just, well, again, I'm out here by myself, and it was, well, whatever you wanna do. And my parents were never active once they got divorced, they lived their own lives and kinda forgot they had kids. So I just kinda take it day by day and figured it out as I go. What? Do I need a mom?
Hmm.
Liz, do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have an older brother and an older sister. My sister is 9 years older, and my brother is 6 years. My brother was in and out of jail and addicted to drugs growing up. He then left to go to the military. The focus was always on him. But since they're so much older, by the time my parents got divorced, they were kind of out on their own, doing their own thing, and I kind of just got pushed to the side. My dad told me I was the reason they got divorced, so
No, absolutely not.
so
I'll be the first to tell you it's not your fault.
a lot of things come from that. And you know, I still struggle clearly to this day with it, but and then part of it is just because they never really want to talk about it. They don't want to move forward and heal from it. It's still a big issue. My parents have always put themselves first before us.
Well, it breaks my heart, but you are not the reason for their divorce.
So, a lot of mine comes from figuring it all on my own.
How old are you?
32.
You're still young.
Yeah.
You got
And
this.
we're happy you're here.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you guys, have opened up, with each other, so now you can have those non-negotiable discussions, be supportive if somebody's struggling with something, know that there's no judgment to you guys. This brings you closer, this is a string that connects you, because in this room, you guys are connected in some way, not just because of TopGolf. There's something in your story that you are connected. And you have to hold on to that, because that's what makes humans so beautiful and our story so relevant. Our stories matter. And usually we just see people walking around. I love to people watch. I want to know someone's story. You gotta get to know each other. You gotta be there for each other. No judgment. And we're so afraid to share because we're afraid that someone's gonna judge us. But in reality, it's us judging ourselves. So you have to stop judging yourselves. You have to quit being your own worst bully.
I feel like that's one of my biggest things. I go home every day and think about everything that happened during the day, what went wrong, or if I ever said anything.
So I want you to shift that, and I want you to say what went right. So from here on out, what went right today? I showed up to Chips today, and I shared part of my story today. That's what went right. You showed up for yourself today. 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 You showed up for yourself today, and you showed up for yourself. But then collectively, you all showed up together for each other. So thank you. Power. Always show up for yourself. Always. Because that's what matters at the end of the day. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Now we need tissues.
Now what?
More tissues.
Oh, more tissues.
Well, I want everyone in here to know that I am always here for anyone. I am a safe space, and if any of you ever need someone and need to talk, you can always reach out to me.
Thank you. Let's have a mom hug. A mom, come on.
I was asking if you had anything to say.
No, I think this was really powerful for our group, and hopefully it continues to grow as well,
Yeah.
because you touched upon what is so important today, and that's that human connection. And we're losing a lot of that with these little supercomputers in our hands.
Yeah, put it down. Congratulations, Paula.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for making us cry.
I'm very good always.
What's the deal with the books? Can we purchase the books
So
or?
they're $50 and I can sign them for you if you'd like.
Okay.
Oh, I have a gift for all of you. I was thinking of that.
Well, Liz will come back. She just probably had face.
Will you pose opening your gift?
Oh yeah. I didn't open that because I wasn't sure. Like when I set it up, I was like,
Perfect. Oh,
oh man,
yes.
I wasn't ready.
We're not, we don't play sports, okay.
Jason's like, I don't play sport. Ooh, a stress ball.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't really talk about it in my talk, but when I was part of Peers, we had a mental health awareness week, and we made stress balls, and they were green, and they said Peers, and take a stress break. So this is kind of an omen to like,
Sure.
Nice.
so,
They're
They're
great.
sweet, yeah.
How much are your books?
15.
$15.
Do you have, or do you do like card?
What?
Card or
Oh, yeah,
cash or.
Credit card,
I gotta stop my phone.
I only have a 20.
Venmo.
Okay,
You
well
got me
then.
Venmo.
You don't do
I got
Venmo?
$1,400 stolen out of my phone.
Oh.
So I don't do, I do Zelle, I do have Zelle.